Oh, shit. There he is.
Turn some lights on.
All right. We're going to give up to Brady Willis, everybody. Round of applause.
What's up, everybody? Yes! Woo! Grace and energy. Who loves this country? Yeah! I love it. I've been here celebrating some freedom of speech tonight. It's been great. I love our freedoms. I do. I think freedom of religion is another good one. Anyone here religious? No? Non-religious? Spiritual? Hindu? Buddhist? I love it. Pick whatever you want. Pick whatever you want. I love that you can choose whatever religion you want in this country. And we're happy when you find peace in that religion. But if you become too religious, we're also happy to send the ATF to burn your fucking house down. So be safe. Don't pray too hard. Oh, man. Anybody here that was raised religious but no longer practices? Yes, my people. Nobody talked to us about sex. I got most of my sex talk from church, which was just don't do it until you're married, and the youth pastor reciting confusing Bible verses damning masturbation, or as God would have it, the spilling of one's seed. One of these verses I always remember is Genesis 38, 7 through 10. And this is where Judah has his oldest son killed by God because he was wicked. So Judah commands his younger son Onan to have sex with his dead brother's wife so she can have babies. Onan's not cool with this. So instead of busting inside of his dead brother's wife, he pulls out and spills on the floor. God is angered by this, but only because he spilled his seed, nothing else. And he causes Onan to die. So, God's cool with adultery with your dead brother's wife as long as you don't pull out. Maybe we were quick to judge Hunter Biden. They're a religious family. Surely he knows about God's no pulling out when fucking your dead brother's wife rule. Yeah, he's good. Jesus. Oh man, because of the fear my youth pastor and the word of God put into my dick, I was pretty spill-free until right after I turned 16. When, like a skinny, less talented Tim Tebow, I returned from a mission trip to Mexico, where I met a girl on this trip, and we started to talk. This was a big deal. I was an overly religious teen with acne, braces, and a mullet. There were not many interested. Well, she told me one night on the phone, I've been praying, and God told me he doesn't want us to be together. And she hung up. Well, my world was shattered. I'd been loyal to God my whole life to this point. And the first chance he gets, he fucking cockblocks me. So to get back at him, you know what I was doing? Spilling. Like Michael J. Fox eating soup on a roller coaster. Jesus wept. Jesus. Now this mission trip I went on, there were parts of it that always felt odd. I mean, we did dig a well, and we painted a youth building. But what I remember most is hanging a large sheet in the center of the square of this small Mexican town and showing the Passion of the Christ every night for a week. I guess to be sure they got the message, which after a week just seems to be that Mel Gibson does not like Jews. But I did not have long to feel odd, because Tim Tebow did an interview for the New York Times about what he does on his mission trips. He gets invited to assist doctors in some medical procedures. He is circumcising young, impoverished boys in the Philippines. To this day, he does not have a medical degree or background. And he goes back all the time through his Tim Tebow Foundation. So I don't feel too bad. All we did was force a small Mexican town to watch Mel Gibson direct the Jews to graphically murder Jesus for a week. Tim Tebow is a serial circumciser with 0 medical credentials. And they say we made enemies fighting overseas. I mean, ISIS was bad, but we never sent Tim Tebow to crudely cut their dick skins off. That's a terrifying enemy. Since we're, Jesus guys. Since we're talking about dick skins, what do you guys think about my new sweatshirt? I thought if I put it up, I kind of look uncircumcised. Maybe Tim Tebow's going to come out of the woodworks. Come get me. I'll show you how to go. Like this. There we go. Now I'm uncircumcised again. Jesus, guys. We're having fun. We're having fun. Yes. All right, Easter's coming up. Anybody going to celebrate? Got some Easter plans? Yes. That Jesus, man, he was awesome. He was awesome. I mean, he fed like 5,000 people with just a few loaves of bread and fish. You know, he cured blindness with mud. He cleansed leprosy. He made the ocean his bitch. And he survived 40 days in the desert with no food. And Satan mind-fucking him the whole time. The dude was unstoppable. If you were a gambling man back then, he was your sure bet. And I'm sure there was heavy money on the crucifixion. I mean, he's up against what? Some agitated Jews with thorns and sticks? With those odds, put me down for 500 shekels on the Virgin. But we all know what happened next. Jesus threw that fight. Jesus Christ, I forgot my... this is brand new, I apologize, guys. Jesus threw that fight. And then he had Judas killed because no loose ends. Then 3 days later, the Son of God wakes up, dodges his disciples, takes his cut from the Jews, and pieces out on a cloud. A holy money grab so well done, the true story has never been told. Until now, in The Passion of the Christ 2, the only begetting son, Mel Gibson's next anti-Semitic blockbuster. Jesus. Oh man, I need water. I kind of liked it when I could see you. All right. So, I'm a veteran. And, yeah, you don't have to do that, I promise. That's right, yeah. Because I served and fought for Halliburton, I take any injustices I see in everyday life very seriously. Especially that of equal representation. For instance, does anyone here struggle with naps like I do? Yes. Yeah, it's tough. Living with a national average penis size comes with many struggles in today's society. Just recently, I was shopping for dildos. I did not feel represented. I think dildos need labels on them, letting people know how much bigger they are than the national average penis size. Just trust me, in the moment is not the time you want them learning what the average is. It's fucking terrifying. And if you don't believe me, and you've never found yourself in reverse cowgirl, with someone pulling up, thinking they got clearance for 8, but all you got is 6. And if that person on top is drunk, you can say goodbye to their aim as they blindly hammer their body onto your dick. The whole time. You're just one imagined inch away from disaster. That's why safe sex for me has always been when I control the thrust. That way, when my dick falls out, it's on my own terms. Gosh, I can't complain too much. When you're more represented in the butt plug section, anal sex is not elusive. Jesus. Oh man, a little more water. Well, male enhancement pills are fake. Yet they made over $200 million last year, slowly draining the accounts of small-dicked Americans. But I do think the answer is out there. Pressed tightly against a zipper, ready to be set free. But I can't believe I lost my spot on there. Let's see. Oh, I was recently on Reddit reading about a trans woman who's been shrinking her penis for the last 4 years using hormone therapy. Don't do that. If you want to downsize, I'm looking for an upgrade. I got a bunch of sad dick pics on my phone to prove I'm your guy. I think trans women are missing out on the dick envy market. That's no snake oil between their legs. And they've been sewing penises on since the 90s. Y'all remember Mr. Bobbitt? He had his dick cut off, thrown in a field. I'm just proposing more of a face-off scenario. Clearly, the world's next billionaire is a well-endowed trans woman auctioning off her extra meat online. Dick swap would not only be the next Pornhub category, it would be our country's next hit show. Think of it. They bring a bunch of small-dicked, racists, and bigots together with well-hung trans women of all types with the goal of making each other's dreams come true. I'd watch it. I think a redistribution of dicks would equal less racism and bigotry in our country as we enter into transracialism, dick first. Listen, guys, all I'm really trying to say is, please, don't shrink your penis. Consider mine instead. My blood type's B positive, if anybody's wondering. I do know that the trans subject can be touchy to bring up, so I just wanted to be sure I get my honest take. I'm just happy to finally have a group of women that want my penis, even though it's only because their penis is too big. Jesus Christ. My words are changing the world, guys. Anyone here ever found themselves in a situation where they had to do something that they thought they'd never have to do? Woo! Yeah, you guys are a little hesitant. I got you on that dick one last time. I think life and like who we are and what we're willing to do is more situational. You know, people declare things and I don't get it. For example, the Donner Party. I'm pretty sure at the beginning of their trip, they would have proudly declared they would not eat their family members. But when the situation presented itself, they quickly learned why they had 13 kids. Appetizers. I think sexuality is similar, minus the cannibalism. I don't understand declaring it. Mine seems to be more situational than a set thing. For example, this guy right here. If he were to ask me what would it take for me to suck his dick, well, I would have to say that depends on my situation. In my current state, I would need life-changing funds to do it willingly. But if I go 3 days without food and sleep, I'll do it for a cracker. If you add in the cold, I'll do it as long as we cuddle after. This is what military training taught me. Survival. Nothing's gay if you're trying to stay warm, they would tell us. It really made you start to understand all the ancient armies. Like the Spartans. They were cold, hungry, tired, and gone for years at a time. Of course they fucked each other. In ranger school in the cold mountains, by the 3rd day, I was already sharing a sleeping bag with a strange man to stay warm. You give me another month, I would have been a Spartan. Or at least the guy that'll suck your dick for a cracker. Either way, I'll survive. My God. Does anybody have any crackers? Last time I told that joke, an old man brought a cracker on stage. I was full though. Oh man. So I try and put myself in other people's shoes sometimes. I'm sure some of us try and do it too. See what it's like to maybe live their life, kind of help us be more kind with one another. I also get seasonal allergies really, really bad. And I often think about the other people out there that are suffering the same or worse congestion than me, but suck dick for a living. During ragweed season, I can barely make it through dinner. It looks good, honey. I've become extremely empathetic towards sex workers that struggle with hay fever. I also understand how much money there is in sex work. And I thought about just piggybacking off my situation. See, my eyes are already puffy and watery. My mouth's always hanging open because I can't breathe out of my nose. I just need to wear some cheap mascara and start an OnlyFans page. Title every picture, Post Throat Fuck. No one will be the wiser. But that is stolen valor. I'm glad he likes it. I'm here for you tonight, buddy. Well, get ready for this one. My grandma hates it, so here we go. I've noticed as I get older that things about me change. Anybody else? No? Okay. So, for instance, I love onions now. And crowds are becoming less and less appealing. And my commitment to cum has dwindled significantly. When I was younger, my dick was hard when the wind blew. If a girl asked me to do something questionable while I was in pursuit of an orgasm, I was going to do it. In time, I remember saying things when I was younger like, I'd suck a fart out of her ass. In the time of endless boners and a mind full of tits and ass, I had no lines in the sand. But as I've gotten older, lines have begun to form. For example, I'm willing to wait the 5 to 7 days to not have period sex. When I was younger, that was not a barrier. I may have come up as the Joker once or twice. When I was in the military, I would fly back on breaks to hang out in Missouri, chase some pussy around a bonfire in a cow pasture. And because I always had close to my dad's, I didn't travel with luggage, just the clothes on my back. Well, after one of these trips, I was getting ready to go in the airport, but I was delayed. You see, the pasture had provided, and I was getting some in the back seat of the car in the airport parking lot. That's right, that one time. It was period sex. But I did not care. But the family next to us quickly getting into their van, they cared. As every thrust was like the strike of Mel Gibson's hatchet in The Patriot. And my white t-shirt began to resemble a Jackson Pollock painting. For any gay man struggling with my references, just try and imagine your painting with a few more earth tones. Now, because I had no luggage or change of clothes, this is how I had to go in the airport. I thought for sure the security guards were going to stop me. It looked like I'd just take a knife to my penis and went on a stabbing spree in the parking lot, with all the blood spatter evidence pointing to my crotch. But of course, when they saw it, they would know murder was not possible. Not with this dick. But I did not get stopped, which I thought was odd. But then I remembered it was 2010. They probably just thought I was wearing the newest Affliction t-shirt. This allowed me time to quickly buy an airport hoodie and stash my bloody evidence like a skull baby in the bathroom trash can. Now, I just wait the 5 to 7 days. I need to find a better ending for that. I'll keep working on it. I like the stall baby one. You like that too. Yeah. You guys are fun. Thanks for coming out. Having a good time. Oh. Okay. So I'm white. For those of you who don't see color, I also get lots of freckles. Lots. Which is just my skin cells overproducing melanin when they're exposed to the sun. Because I was originally born without any. My skin cells have spent the last 34 years trying to correct this poor design. You got a bird. Sorry. That's why I think it's crazy every time I see a ginger who's racist towards black people. Like, hey, your body's literally trying to correct itself to their better suited skin color. Sadly, a lot of racism is due to us pasty folk. We're jealous because we realize that if global warming continues, we're fucked. We come from a long line of ancestors that did their best work in poor lighting. Really, an ice age would be more in our favor. Maybe that's what Michael Jackson was preparing for. It's just a misunderstood prepper. Jesus Christ. Sorry, I should have warned you this was going to be dumb. This could be dumb. Alright, since we're talking about Michael Jackson, who here listens to like rap, hip-hop, R&B? Yes, I love it. I love that stuff. But I'll be honest, I don't know the difference between the three. But only thing I know about this mysterious genre is my favorite artist is Too Short. Even though he tells me in every single song how his dick is bigger than mine and he's gonna fuck my wife. For example, he says in the Good Book of Cocktails, chapter 13, verse 2 and 3, I'm short dog, ain't nothing nice. You ever make me mad and I'll fuck your wife. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I love his music, but I could never have the guy over to my house. He has got me on the dick thing. I cannot allow him to make it 2 for 2. I mean, I already have Hunter coming for her when I die. I can't have 2 short around, just waiting for me to make him mad so he can fuck my wife. No, sir. I really just think a lot of these rappers could start a cult on the side. You know? Like, if you want to fuck everyone's girl, it is a proven route. You just can't pee on it. I can't. Y'all have to laugh. I'm gonna laugh at myself and shit still. Alright. Who's got kids? Yes? Yes! Life's awkward with kids. When my wife was pregnant with our youngest, I was looking for a lot of gifts. I was like trying to make her feel better, you know, she's miserable. So I'm looking for all these gifts about motherhood. Well, what I found were a bunch of websites selling jewelry made from post-pregnancy body fluids. Like placenta, amniotic, breast milk. So I saved a bag of fluids. 7 years later, it's still in my freezer. I just can't seem to find the right occasion to get a ring made with a card that says, to always remember, this came out of you. You don't think people ever get post-abortion jewelry made, do you? Like, I didn't want the kid, but I fucking love this necklace. You laugh at it. Oh, you probably guessed this, but I've always been told throughout my life, you can't say that. And also, people immediately tell me when they have me on speakerphone. So, just wrote down a couple examples of things I've said that I should have said. Last Christmas was with the family. We're all together, big family gathering, and I received a pair of house slippers as a gift. They were a little small. I didn't want to make anyone feel bad, so I just said, I'll trim my toenails and they'll probably fit. Shouldn't have said that. At another family gathering, somebody brought up the many kidney stones that they had passed. And I said, Jesus Christ, what does your urethra look like, a tattered flag? Shouldn't have said that. Every time I see a fat firefighter, and I say, we sent them into weakened structures? Can't say that. Every time I see a fat police officer, and say, you know they shoot first. Can't say that. God. There's no fat police officers. Okay, we're gonna switch over to poop. Who here has seen the commercial for Cologuard? Anybody? Yes! It's a great commercial. They're all like dancing about putting their poop in a box so they can send it off to see if they have colon cancer. It's great. It's so enjoyable. Well, anybody here used a public restroom? Yeah! Clearly the people at Cologuard never have. Because they give the U.S. population an attachment for their toilet to poop in with a diameter of 3.5 inches. Let's see what that looks like. So, right there, between your fingers, you poop in that. That's what you get to poop in. Every time I've been in the public restroom, I'm thinking, we should make these holes bigger. But it gets weirder. Not only does Cologuard require you to aim like an Olympian, they require your specimen to be no bigger than a walnut. Huh? Does it come with a mold? What stage of walnut? The nut? The nut with the shell on? Or green off the tree? They don't tell you. You just have to figure it out. And once you've met all of these vague and humiliating requirements, you now get to return your specimen. I must warn you, Cologuard requires you to leave your box of shit in a visible location. And they do not take their branding off the return packaging. Finally answering the question of, what's in the box? It's poo. It's poo. And because Cologuard is clearly a joke, they only ship UPS. So when they ask, what can Brown do for you? They can haul our nation's cancer-ridden shit in trucks that reach 140 degrees. It's no wonder those drivers went on strike for air conditioners. That is the same temperature as a porta potty in Afghanistan. Trust me, I know. I masturbated in those. Am I going to do this? I can't believe I did this. So, please remember that if you want to thank me for my service later. And to ensure that you never forget that, here is a poor reenactment of that service done in the style of a nature documentary. Here we see a young, promising specimen, now experiencing the negative effects of war. Between the gunfire, desert heat, and 17 terabytes of porn, we now witness a man who has lost all dignity as he builds a strong respect for UPS drivers and a certain poop fetish. Let's take another look. Like professional breather Wim Hof, the soldier has learned it is all about breath work and dick prep. Because if the soldier cannot complete his mission before his lungs give out, an ethnic mixture of high heat war shits laced with yesterday's government rations and near death is weighting his senses. More toxic to the lungs than the fabled burn pits. The toxic porta potty is certain to be Jon Stewart's next congressional crusade. Now, let's get back to our broken soul. I'll turn this way. Sorry. You had to see that. But I took an oath to gallantly show the world that I'm a specially selected and well-trained soldier. The dumbest thing I've ever fucking done in my life. Alright, let's keep it up. Woo! I'm all sweaty, I feel like a wet hot dog up here. Okay, that was a lot of silence. Who here still uses scratchy, dry toilet paper to clean their nasty, smelly asshole? Yes, peasants. We are a country of toilet paper using peasants. You remember the fear that led to stockpiles nationwide, ensuring the preservation of mud butt and dingleberries in our culture. You see, people suck at wiping their ass, and we all know who sucks the most. Our kids. If you have kids at home, that poorly attempt to wipe their ass. Another burp. Then you also have a washing machine full of tiny pieces of shit. And us parents, we put up with it. Because there's nothing worse than wiping someone else's ass. I don't care how much you love them. But when it's not your kid, but you still gotta wipe that ass, those wipes. Ugh. We all only have so many of those wipes to give out. That's why you read about older people being found in their own filth. They used up all them wipes. I mean, till death do us part is great, but I'm fucking done wiping your ass, Kathy! Oh man. My nephew came over and to play, and he's like, I gotta poop. Cool. He's 4, he's got this. Well, after a few minutes, he yells for me. I'm thinking he wants to show me his turd. Well, I come in, he's standing, hands up, legs spread, ass out. He looks over his shoulder and says, wipe me. Now, I am one for letting everyone parent their kids how they want. As long as it's not affecting me. But it was pretty clear in this moment that my sister's parenting style was affecting my life. And in my head, I'm thinking, with my see-through amount of dignity, I'm thinking, I'm not going to do this. But I did. And I told him what a good job he did too. As the happiness in my life went cold, and the last remnants of my soul fell dormant, and I finally understood the Dementor's kiss. Because becoming everyone's soulless post-poop bitch, and my kids' boxer briefs looking like they were filming Fast 15 in there, I bought a bidet attachment for my toilet, which I had never used in my life. I was just so tired of brown eyes and tiny pieces of shit in my washing machine. I was willing to try anything. And I had always imagined the bidet to be a soothing experience, based off nothing. I had no previous experience of water sprayed harshly at my asshole. Oh man. Well, I took away any possibility of that being a soothing experience because I bought the cold water only bidet. Like a high pressure cold plunge just for the most tender of holds. The picture on the box was just a man screaming from shock, ah! And certain penis retraction. Jesus. I'm sorry. The pressure, and if it's not coming off, you just spray harder. It was like removing mud from your body with a garden hose. Now my clearly cheap bidet has 15 dots on it that show low to high pressure. I personally do not go past dot 5. My balloon knot tends to untie around dot 6. When my bidet then goes into enema mode. This is not a feature listed in the manual, but a useful one for when you want to get a head start on the next morning shit today. It's been a good buy. It's been a good buy. My washing machine is no longer discharging wastewater, and Vin Diesel is no longer ruining my kids' underwear. God, gotta work on that one. I like talking about poop. So like I said earlier, I'm a veteran, and one of the perks I get is I get to use the VA hospital system. Yeah, I was there not too long ago, and the doctor said that they were going to have to check my prostate. Now, this was my first official prostate exam, I was a little nervous and unaware of how the process was going to go. So when he asked me if I wanted a chaperone, I quickly said yes. And when he came back in with a female chaperone, I was feeling better. Like someone was going to have my back. And she walks up to me, and I'm expecting her to say something like, "This is what I've gone to school for. My eyes will never leave your asshole." But what she said was, "I'll be over here facing the wall." Which clearly seemed like code to the doctor to molest this motherfucker. So I turned to try and argue with her to watch me get fingered, but the doctor's too quick. He's too quick, and he says, "Bend over the waist at the table." So I do. I'm thinking, let's get this over quickly. So I bend over the waist, and I'm ready, I'm waiting, but all I hear is, "Not like that." Okay? But he didn't give me a pamphlet on how he wanted this to go. So I just bent my knees more. I'm thinking that's gonna work, but this time all I hear is, "No." Okay? 3 more times we did this. I straightened my legs back out. I extended my arms. I even laid on my stomach for him. The whole time, he's behind me on his knees with a smile on his face. Like, "No, no, no." He probably threw a thumbs up to the chaperone. She didn't see it. She was facing the fucking wall. Finally, after being tired of my amateur show, I feel a hand gently placed on my lower back as he guides me into the preferred position, and he inserts. I learned 2 things that day. I do not have colon cancer, and I should have just pooped in the box. Use Cologuard, don't get finger fucked. Jesus. Alright, it's back on the freedom wagon. Who here loves guns? Yes! Gun freaks, just this side. Watch out for them. I love guns. I think the Second Amendment's great. But I do think we can all agree, right? That there are some people out there that shouldn't have it. Right? Well, how come if you're on the sexual predator list, you can still buy a van? I think we should relegate all sexual predators to horse and buggy. Really help cut down on the child abduction. Surely would have slowed down Epstein. Do you know how long it takes to get to an island on horse and buggy? Several months. But sadly, guys, sadly, we would no longer be able to trust the Amish. As our nation's predators would move near Amish communities to blend in. I know it sounds terrible, but if I'm going to be honest, I do think it's a win-win. You see, the Amish have been around in our country for 274 years. That's freedom. And they're famous for not accepting new members, yet having loads of children. That's incest. You see, we get rid of the sexual predators, and the Amish get tons of new neighbors, eager to help with their incest. That's a win-win. I see we have some Amish sympathizers in here tonight. Just to remind you, they believe every single one of you is going to hell. I'm just talking about returning the favor. Oh man, every time I see an Amish or Mennonite now, I'm like, that's a sexual predator in a match. Alright, so I live in a small community up north, and I often wonder what my reputation is in this community. You know, so I was at a parade just the other day with my kids, and you see, I was handed this koozie that says, "Don't rape." They weren't handing these to anybody else around me. It clearly felt targeted. So, I've been working on my not a rapist vibe lately. If anyone has any tips, come find me after this. I'll be out by the dumpsters with the horse and buggy. Thanks, guys. That's all I got. You guys have a good